Hey, it's Paul. Welcome back to B&B Talk. I want to get you to hit that subscribe button. Thanks a lot. I'm going to jump right into things because this is it's quite the episode. First thing we see is we see Thomas, and he is talking to Ivy, and he tells her, this is blackmail and that she doesn't deserve this. And Ivy says that she actually does deserve this. Then we see Wyatt show up, and he says that Ivy deserves compensation for staying quiet. Now, is it just me, or does this chick have a set of brass balls on her? I don't even understand how she could be trying this in the wake of her cousin being dead. Like, it's unbelievable, but now we can say that Ivy actually has a character. The next thing we see is Caroline and Ridge, and they're talking about adding the second model as the new face of Forrester. And they talk about the fact that Maya is going to be on her honeymoon and she'll need a little time off. It'll be nice to have a second model as the face of the California Freedom Line. And then Carter and Liam show up, and they talk about the press and the fact that there's a ton of coverage, and Liam wants to come out with at least something for Steffy to deal with the press. And they don't get very far with this because Ridge tells them that Steffy will be the new face of Forrester, and he doesn't even get far with this. And Ivy speaks up and says that she wants to throw her hat in the ring. Now, pretty much all hell breaks loose because Ridge tells Ivy that Steffy is the most qualified, and then Ivy sort of claims nepotism, and Ridge isn't trying to hear that at all. Then Wyatt jumps in and says they should strongly consider Ivy because Steffi's got a lot on her plate with the death of Allie and running the company. And they pretty much go back and forth, and we know who's on what side. And then Wyatt thinks that from a PR standpoint, it's not wise to use Steffy, so he's making his pitch. Ivy jumps in and says that other info could come to light in the investigation now. Everybody's curious about this. And then Thomas steps in and shocks everyone and says they actually should go with Ivy until things blow over, almost like a temporary fix. And then everyone says the same thing. He says it makes Steffy look guilty. And then Liam thinks it'll add fuel to the fire if they hide Steffy away. Now, you can tell what Steffi's reaction is going to be. She's crushed. And Ridge says he'll think about it. And that's where they leave things off. And then at that point, Steffy demands to see Thomas right away. We also see Bill and Katie. We haven't really seen them in a full scene for a while. And Katie starts commending Bill on how Spencer Publications actually did a respectful piece on Allie's death. And Bill says that Steffy should be actually grateful to be alive based on how things went down. He also goes on to say that the pictures that Allie kept in that closet are proof that she had something pent up and that it had been building for a long time. Bill actually thinks that Ivy has a little blood on her hands because she was really tight with Allie, and she really didn't do enough to have her come down from her rage. And then Bill goes into gloating about making Maya a household name. Now, at that point, the two of them get into it because Katie loves the fact that Bill's been on his best behavior, and he gets rewarded because the door gets locked, and guess what they get down to? So after that, we see Ivy, and she's thanking Wyatt for having her back. And then Ivy says that Thomas has not told Steffy, so she has no clue about the footage. And Wyatt then starts venting about Liam because he's upset that his brother's president of Spencer and VP of Forrester, and he thinks that eventually, or in a time soon to come, that it'll be their time to shine, meaning him and Ivy. So we know that they've sort of positioned themselves as a power couple and making aggressive moves. Now, Ridge and Caroline get together, and they're shocked that Thomas is backing Ivy. But then Caroline puts another point out, and she says that Thomas might feel a little slighted because you remember Ridge ripped up his designs and whatnot, so they think that he might be doing this out of spite. And then at that point they put two and two together and figure out that Wyatt is hooking up with Ivy. I mean, it's pretty obvious if you've seen their interactions lately. And the last thing we see Steffy with Thomas, and she blasts him for promoting Ivy. But Thomas tells her that he did it to help her, and Steffy doesn't understand it, doesn't really believe it. But Thomas tells Steffy that Ivy has a video of Steffy and her and Allie, and now she's saying that it's murder, and that's where we leave things off. Obviously Steffy's stunned, but we'll find out more on the next episode. So that's all she wrote for this episode, folks. I want to thank you for checking out B&B Talk. It's Paul. Don't forget to follow us on social media and have a great weekend.